is for the hips and the legs, so the muscles from basically top of your hips down to your knees area. So we're going to be focusing in on that. So if you have questions, let me know in the chat. We'll get right into it. We're going to be doing these stretches together. Let me know if you need any help or if you need any modifications for these stretches. We're going to start with a quad stretch, which is the muscle that runs from the front of the hip down to the knee. What you're going to do is reach around behind, grab your ankle, and then pull your leg up to the back till you feel a stretch in the front of that thigh. Now, I like to have something just to sort of hold balance so I don't have to worry about keeping straight up and down. I can just focus in and relaxing into that stretch. We're going to hold this for 20 seconds. You can hold for longer, but at least 20 seconds. I like this stretch a lot. I find for me, this really helps me stretch the front of my hip because this muscle goes all the way up to that front of that hip bone. And as I sit in a computer chair or work on editing or anything for work, I tend to get tight in this muscle group. And I feel this really loosens that up. It helps relieve that tension in the front of my leg. I used to do this stretch all the time for martial arts, and I find I need to spend a little bit more time being deliberate about it. Uh-oh. Looks like it skipped there for a moment. Let me know if you guys can still... I'll have to check that. It looks like everything's fine over here. Let me know, guys, if this is actually not going through for some reason. Okay, not sure what's going on with that, but I'm gonna trust that it's there and all working okay. So we just stretched the front of the thigh. Now I like to stretch the back of the thigh, these hamstring muscles. So this goes all the way from the back of your knee up into your hip. It actually attaches up here at the hip bones. So we're gonna do a sit or a kneel and reach. Let me know if you have another name for this stretch. What you're going to do is you're going to put your foot straight on front. That's the leg we're stretching. And from here, you're going to bring your chest forward. Now, you don't want to round your back. You want to bring your chest forward till you feel that stretch in your hamstrings, and then hold that stretch. If it helps, you can reach out towards the front with your hands or whatever's comfortable for you. Some people find it's easier to reach out like this. Just hold that stretch. All these stretches are going to be held stretches where we're working on that flexibility. This is called a static stretch, where we're trying to hold a position without moving to increase that flexibility. There's a number of different types of stretching. This is one that I find is easy to do. You don't have to do any special movement, any special thing. You can just hold it even while reading a book or working at an office chair. Now, if you want to do this seated rather than kneeling, if you're at work or something like that, that works out totally fine too. Just make sure this front leg is straight and you're bringing your chest forward till you feel that stretch. I find this muscle I've lost the most flexibility in. I used to have much more flexible hamstrings, and so I have to spend more work getting that flexibility back. Because back when I was training martial arts, we would do a lot of kicks over the top of your head. We were constantly working on flexibility. And since I stopped training in martial arts, I stopped being quite as dedicated to my stretching. And that's where I lost that flexibility. My body deacclimated to it. So little by little, I'm building up that flexibility again. And relax. All right, now we're gonna work on the muscles on the inside of the thigh. These actually run from the inner part of the knee all the way up into the hips. So what you're gonna do is go into a kneeling position, then you're gonna put one leg out to the side, and sort of like a side lunge, but we're doing this in a kneeling position. So from here, you're gonna drop your hips back, sort of sitting down towards your heel. You should feel that stretch in here in the inner part of your thigh. Should feel no pain, just tension. You wanna go to where you feel that tension through that entire midsection of your thigh. And then hold that for 20 seconds. Sorry about that. Kind of an interesting day today. I don't know if you guys could hear that alarm going off. And switch to the other side. So kneeling position, this leg out straight, this is the stretching leg, and seeing down to the back. You might feel like one side is tighter than the other. Like your dominant leg might be a little easier to stretch than your non-dominant leg. The lower you are to the ground, the more of a stretch it's going to be. And for your foot, you can have it on the side of your foot, or you can have your foot like this or like this. Either is fine, whatever feels comfortable on your ankle. This is, I find, a great way to start building split flexibility, because it's the same muscles, but you can do one leg at a time. And I find it's a little less intense, where you can slowly build up that flexibility. Okay, so we just stretched the inner part of the hip muscles. Now we're gonna stretch the outer part out in this section. So for this one's a little unusual. So you're gonna put your leg out in front of you with your foot on the inside of your knee. So at an angle like this. Then from here, you're gonna lean forward, feeling that stretch in your hip. Now, if this is too intense for you, don't feel like you have to lean so far forward. Or if you can't get into this position, you can also do this starting out in sort of a kneeling position too, and then work your way up, moving your leg back a little bit more. Further back this leg is, the back leg, the more intense that stretch is gonna be. I find this was really the only thing that gave me relief when I had sciatic pain in my leg. It has been a long time since I've had that, but I never want to go back to having that sciatic pain. So I do this stretch because it actually keeps the muscles that are right near the sciatic nerve, that big nerve in your leg. A lot of people that have back pain, it's actually sciatic pain. So I like to do this stretch proactively to keep that flexibility of the muscles around that sciatic nerve. And same thing on the other side. I call this one a figure 4 because you're sort of making a 4 shape with your leg. I know people who do yoga have a different name for it. If you know what the name is, let me know in the comments. I've never actually done yoga. I've learned a couple things from people who have done yoga, but never done yoga myself. Now you can see on this side, I can't quite get my knee as low. This side's a little less flexible. If you need to, just go to where you feel a stretch, and it might be different on each side. I'm working at building up my left side's flexibility more. This is the side that had that sciatic pain. So it's a little less flexible than my right, a little more prone to pain. That's why I do this stretch. and relax. Should feel no pain, just tension as you're doing that stretch. If it does hurt, try backing off a little bit from that stretch. So now we're going to stretch the deep muscles in the hip in what I've heard called a butterfly stretch. Let me know if you have a different name for it. You're going to bring your feet in towards your body as close as you can get them. The closer they are, the more stretch it's going to be. So if it feels too intense, you can bring your feet a little further away from your body. So pull as tight as you can to your body, and then with your elbows, you're going to push down on your knees, or if you want to, you can use your hands, feeling that stretch on the inner part of your hip, deep in that hip joint. So we're stretching those muscles that are right at the bottom of the hip bones. If you want to, you can also bring your chest down towards your feet, keeping those knees down, and you should feel that stretch. And holding this for about 20 seconds, going to where you have tension but no pain. Hello, hey, it's good to see you. See greetings from Shoya. Hang on one second. I see your message up there, but I can't quite read it from here. And relax. So Shoya says, I call that the lotus stretch. Interesting, is that from yoga that they call it a lotus stretch? This one right here. So the lotus stretch, interesting. I like that, this sounds nice. So now we're gonna do what's called a runner stretch, because it's sort of like you're a runner in the blocks. It's getting ready to start a race. This is for this back hip. We're gonna stretch these deep hip muscles that run right along they actually connect at your spine down into your hip and thigh. So from here, what you're going to do is push your hips forward as far as you can, sort of leaning into that front leg till you feel that stretch right here across the back leg. Closer to the lotus pose. Okay. Close to the lotus pose. Interesting. Gotcha. So holding this stretch, you should feel it right here. We're stretching the iliopsoas muscle. It's actually two muscles that run right in here. Yeah, it's interesting. Depending on who you're talking to, I find that yoga has their own name for a stretch, and then calisthenics has their own name for the stretch, and then sometimes there's another name too. So sometimes you can be talking about the same thing and have entirely different names for it. Sometimes I try not to name it just because it can cause confusion for people. And then same thing on the other leg. And you do this way so you can see. So pushing your hips towards the front, feeling the stretch in the front of that back leg. Now if you can, the further forward you go, make sure like this. So if the further forward I go, the more of a stretch that's gonna be on that front leg. But I want to try and keep my back straight, pushing my hips forward to really get in deep to that hip flexor. You might feel it kind of on the inside of that thigh as well. That is okay. I find this really helps feel good in my back as well after doing this stretch. Yeah, it's been a long time no see. I've been wondering what you've been up to. So just stretch a lot of the muscles in the hips and down into the legs. Hold on just a moment. Yeah, I've been doing a lot more resistance training streams recently. So I'm doing these live streams on Monday, Wednesday, Friday at 11 o'clock Pacific time now. And this week we're going to be doing stretching because this is a deload week. So we're taking the week off, letting all that soreness subside before going back into resistance training. So Monday, Wednesday, and Friday are going to be stretching days. Today we focused on the hips and legs and doing some easy stretching, just maintaining flexibility and building up some flexibility. So I'm gonna call it a day there. Hope to see you guys next time. I'll be doing these on Wednesday and Friday as well this week, starting at 11 o'clock Pacific time. Thank you guys for being here. Hope to see you guys next time. What was that? Troy says, switching from school to college, got entrance exam. Oh man, exams. Good luck on your exams. Hopefully, I hope you get into the college you want. Sounds great. What are you going to be studying? Take just a couple minutes, but we are all done with stretching for today. Hope to see you guys back here at 11 o'clock. 11 o'clock on Wednesday. Science, very cool. Well, good luck on your exams. I'm gonna head out here, but I will be back on Wednesday. Hope to see you guys then. Take care.